All right, hi guys, it's me again, long time no see. All right, this is a review for ELAR and math for this week, this week's performance task, okay? So I wanna just quickly review what the kiddos should have picked up on through practicing all week long, okay? And again, if they're stuck or if there's still a question or anything, please just email me, okay? And we'll get it figured out together. All right, so I'm gonna flip my camera around. All right, so the first thing that we're really wanting the kids to understand is the vocabulary words of standard and expanded. They should understand that standards, just like what letters are, A, B, C, right? Those are letters, and then when we put the letters together, they form words. Well, standard is just the numbers that we see written, right? And I just put some examples: 13, 86, 21, 44, 19, a quadrillion, 1,000. They're just the numbers written. Expanded form means taking our standard numbers and breaking them apart to show you how much each number is worth or what it really means to us when we say the number 8621. What does that really mean? What does that number mean? Just like with our letters, we know what the sound A is. It's not just the letter A, right? There's a purpose behind it, okay? Before spring break, I had tried to come up with something cute for the kids to remember what expanded meant. And we drew a picture of our little stick figure here with his muscles growing. So expanded means to make bigger, right? So one arm is getting bigger because when we're looking at two-digit numbers, one of them is going to get bigger, the other one is not, because we have our ones place and our tens place, okay? So for an example, I took the number 86 and I tried to do it with multiple colors so you guys could see. All right, so when you say the number 86, what does that really mean? Well, let's look at our place value right here, which is the tens place. That 8 is right there. What does that 8 represent in the tens place? Right? And it represents 80, right? So we would go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, right? So that 8 in that tens place means really we're talking about 80. And then in the ones, we have 6 ones, okay? So we have a total of 86. 44, this 4 in the tens place, what does that represent? That's right, it represents 40. 10, 20, 30, 40. And then we look at the ones place, and we so happen to have another 4. So we take that 4 and bring it over here. We have only 4 ones, right? Okay, so that's the difference between standard and expanded. Standard is just the number we see. Expanded explains what the numbers actually mean, right? Okay, then when we're talking about pictures, excuse me, or base of 10, you'll see that wording, picture, base of 10, on your performance task. Well, picture just means we draw something, right? So long before we even left for spring break, you guys should remember those, and I wish I would have brought them home from school, our blue rods that I would have up on our whiteboard every day. We did the number of the day, right? So I should have made them blue, I made them brown, sorry. All right, so when we're looking at one rod, these are called rods. Oh, let me get a marker. Sorry. Try to get prepared, and then of course, you always are forgetting something. Okay. So when we're looking at our rods, and remember from school, they were blue rods up on our whiteboard. I'll zoom in real quick here. Each rod has how many cubes put together? And I already put them with red dots. Let's count it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each rod is worth how much? It represents 10, right? And when you're drawing it, remember I told you, I don't want you drawing the rods and then worrying about drawing these little lines inside here, right? I just did this to show you and remind you each rod has 10. So when you draw either your rod looking like this, or if you want to just do it like this, almost kind of like a tally mark, that's okay. I will know and you will know that that represents 10, okay? And then for our ones, we used a cube, right? And a cube is worth what? 1. All right, so let's do some examples down here. I have the number 13, 21, and 39. And again, I tried to do multiple colors just to kind of break it up so you can see. You do not do that with your math. Remember, kiddos, we always do math in pencil. I know you're at home, but it has to be in pencil. All right, so looking at the number 13, we're gonna look at our tens place. Well, how many is this telling us that we have of tens? 1. So we draw 1 rod. How many is in our ones? 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, how about 21? This 2 in the tens place is telling us how many tens, how many group of tens do we have? We have 2 group of tens, 10, 20, 21. All right, let's look at the number 39. How many group of tens do we have in the number 39? You even say it, right, when you say the number. We have 3 groups of tens, 10, 20, 30, okay? And then we have our 9 ones. I want to quickly, I made an example because I know in school, I hope you guys remember, Miss Nelson always stressed to you guys, math can get a little tricky if you're not clean and organized with your work, right? Do you see how I have it all nice and clean? I have them in a row, even with this number 9, right? I have it nicely in one row or a couple rows, but they're lined up and nice and clean because it makes it easier then, right? For your eyes to see and for you to go back and check and count your work because it's all nice and clean and organized for you. Let me show you an example. I can hold this up with one hand, of what a not neat work looks like. All right, so I just took the number 68. Now the 10 rods, those aren't so bad. Try to keep them nice and straight. Don't squish them so close together that I can't count to make sure that you knew you would put 6 rods. So I got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, okay? Clean that one up a little, see? Because I couldn't tell that little loop. Okay, so I've got those nice and round. But now look at our ones. They're kind of all over the place. They're not lined up. Some of them are drawn completely. Some of them are not. Now, looking at this one and then looking down here, which one would be easier for you to count and look to double check your work and make sure that you counted each one and didn't skip one? I'd say the one down here, right? So remember, try to keep your work nice and clean and organized, all right? So hopefully that helps you a little bit with your math task. Now parents, here's the important part for you guys, and I'm gonna maybe turn my camera around so you can see this and the kiddos can look at it some more while I'm talking to you parents. So for the math task, you can either print out the form, and it should look like this. This is what it looks like. The number is 99 that they are going to be working with. This is really something important for them to do by themselves. I need to be able to see if they understood how to work standard and expanded and to represent it in a drawing using our rods and cubes. Excuse me. With that being said, of course you can read each of the boxes for them and what they're asking for, but then walk away. Okay, I really want, they should be able to like, oh yeah, draw it. Okay, I know, rods and cubes. Expanded, muscles, yeah, oh, okay, now I know I'm supposed to break them down and show what their true values are for each number. Okay, so in order for me to be able to truly see if they understood this concept, I really need them to do this on their own. So read them each box, one at a time if you want, or read it all at once and then let them have at it. That's totally up to you. But this is not for you to have to sit next to them and stress out with them about it, okay? And I don't want them stressing out about it. This will allow me to see, and I'll give them feedback, because then next time when we have our one-on-one, I'll have something that I can bring with me that we can work together on, okay? So if they need a few extra practices or just didn't quite understand it and I need to reword it, that's perfectly fine, and that's what we'll do, okay? So parents, the number is 99, and it's also posted on class tag as well. Yeah, just read them in the instructions, and that should take care of, and they just show them and make you proud of their work. All right, and if you have any more questions, please just email me. I'll also have that open time on Zoom from 11:30 to 12. Hop on there, and if you need to talk to me face to face and ask some questions, I will be there. All right, I'm going to now switch out for our reading ELAR. So give me 1 second. I don't want to mess anything up here. Move this. Actually, here, I'll just put this on top. Okay, switching this out. Really can't wait for my camera holder. This will make it a lot easier. I apologize, you're staring at a white wall. Okay. Excuse me. Allergies are killing me today. Okay, so for the ELAR, we're really going to be looking at exactly what they did on their practice on Tuesday, their shared writing. So I rewrote the sentence stems for you, and we've got, this story reminded me of, the story made me feel, I would not recommend this book to a friend because I liked or did not like the character in this story because. Now, students, this is for students and parents, just so y'all are all hearing me. Our students know that just because there's a blank little line, that does not mean I'm only looking for a one-worded answer. That's nice if they want to put a one-word period, but then they know they're supposed to continue on with their sentence, with their thought and their feeling of where they were going with it. They need to explain to me, for an example, this story reminded me of I had a lot of kids write, let me write it on here, friends. And I'm using the Knuffle Bunny as a reference. This could go for any of the books, okay? This story reminded me of Friends. Okay, well, I'm a nosy person. They know I'm a nosy person. They know when we share our opinions that they should be pointing at their head, their thinking, and then putting a hand over their heart, their feelings. This story reminded me of my friends. How did it remind you of your friends? Now, with that being said, I'm not looking for a long paragraph, but what I am looking for is an example. Just a 1 or 2 sentence, because I know some of you guys really like to write, but I'm really just looking for an example that you're not just throwing out some word and be like, okay, and I'm moving right along. I really want to know, how did you make this connection with this story? Why did it remind you of your friends? How did it remind you of your friends? Let me grab my marker, I apologize. Okay, so let me open man, I really need octopus arms. Okay, so I'm going to hopefully raise this up so we can get to my board. Okay. So, they would write, this story reminded me of my friends. Period. Oh, and look, I even said, and I'm proofreading my own sentence, this story reminded me of my friends. So make sure that parents, that you aren't proofreading it, you can, but ask them, well, reread that sentence. Are we missing any words? Or if not, then they'll be like, nope, it's fine. Okay. Let them do it, okay? This story reminded me of my friends. So I already had self-corrected myself because I reread my sentence, and that's what they should be doing too, to make sure this is not something to be rushed. Just take your time and do the best you can, okay? So then down here you would continue, well, on their paper they would continue from their sentence. I'm coming down here to my board, okay? And I'm gonna try to write and hold this at the same time. This story reminded me of my friends. My friends and I play, and I'll move this back, at school together. All right. Oh, I want to make a mistake here on purpose. All right, so this is what it should look like. This story reminded me of my friends, and remember, I had self-corrected because I went back and reread my sentence to make sure it made sense. And I noticed I had left out a word, okay? Then I wrote, my friends and I play at school together. Perfect. Now I understand how you made a connection, because I know in the story in Knuffle Bunny, her and her friends like to play together. And if they want to take it even a step further, they can even tell me what they enjoy playing together. We play tag. Okay? Period. Okay, now let's see. Again, have them look at it. And you can remind them, okay, did you start your new sentences with a capital letter? Did we end with the correct punctuation? You can say things like that to them. Don't tell them what it is. They need to figure it out on their own. But you are allowed to remind them of like, hey, make sure you go and proofread your paper. Go back and look at it. All right? So then they could just probably say, oh, Miss Nelson, you forgot your capital letter at the beginning of your sentence. Okay, oh, I forgot my punctuation because look, this was capitalized. So we knew that was a new sentence. So I put a period. I could put an exclamation mark if I wanted on play tag, because it's an exciting thing that we like to do. Totally up to you. But do you see the difference? Instead of only writing, this story reminded me of my friends. Okay? Or this story reminded me of my friends. My friends and I play at school. We play tag. Beautiful, perfect, done. All right. Now there are a lot of choices on here. I would suggest only picking at least 2, minimum 2. They do not have to fill out every single one of these for their homework or for their performance task. Okay, they can choose. It makes no difference to me. All of them will let me know that they A, read the book, B, that they understood the book, and C, made a connection with the book, and D, were able to communicate that information to me by giving me examples of their thinking, of their thoughts and feelings. Okay, so another one they could do is the story made me feel happy, sad, mad, frustrated, angry, whatever it is, period. But then they'd come down here, tell me why. Why did that story? Give me an example from the book. It made me mad to see friends fight over one stuffed animal when they could share. Something. It has to be an example from the book, okay? I would or would not recommend the book to a friend because... Don't just say, because I don't like bunnies. Why? Okay, give me a little bit more, okay? This one's a little bit harder for them, or it may not be, it might be for some. I liked or did not like the character in the story because that one's a little bit more in depth, but who doesn't like a challenge, right guys? So when you are talking about the main character in the story, it might help if you make, sorry, I'm gonna erase my sentence here. Let's come up with things, right? We organize our thoughts sometimes. We pre-plan our writing, and then that will make it so much easier for you to write, okay? So I liked or did not like the character in the story. Well, I'm gonna say I liked okay? I liked her because she's my age. I have a bunny too, or a favorite stuffed animal. I have best friends. Like I said, this one might be a little bit more challenging for them, but it makes them dig deeper, right, into their reading. It's how we become stronger readers. I liked the character in this story because she's my age, right? I like bunnies too, and I have best friends, okay? They don't have to write all of them, but maybe then they could just choose one. But it lets them kind of organize their thoughts on paper, and then it helps them put it together in a sentence, okay? So just what I'm really stressing, not that I'm stressing out, what I'm really trying to make them understand is this one little line that you see on a sentence stem, that is not it. You fill in that one, but then you also give an example, either from the book or an example from your own life. If it, something happened and it reminded you, the story reminded me of when I met my best friend at school, right? So, excuse me. Or the story made me feel sad because I know what it feels like to lose your favorite stuffed animal. Because I lost mine before. So I really just want them to expand their thinking and their writing. Don't just let them give me a one-worded answer, okay? Really, they need to include one example from the book that backs up, and they know this is something we've talked about a lot in class, backs it up, their thought and feeling, right? Okay, so hopefully that was a little bit helpful. Don't, again, have them do every single one of these. Nope. Just have them pick 2, and that'd be perfectly fine, just as long as they back up their thoughts and feelings with an example, okay? So again, hopefully that was helpful. If not, if you need some more help, again, I'm gonna be on our Zoom from 11:30 to 12. So hop on there and bring your work and your questions, and we will work this out together, okay? Alrighty, bye guys.